Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you today to speak on a principle that can radically transform your life, your relationships, and your destiny. It is a principle that, if understood and applied, has the power to take you from where you are to where you've always dreamed of being. It is a mindset, a posture, an attitude. One that says, act as if nothing bothers you. Now let me make it clear, this is not about pretending. It's not about wearing a mask or suppressing your true emotions. This is not about denying your challenges or pretending that life doesn't throw its curveballs. No, this is a principle about power. Your power. It's about controlling your reactions to life's circumstances. It's about shifting your focus from external problems to internal peace. Today I want to show you why this principle is not only important, but essential for the life you deserve. Life is a constant series of challenges, obstacles, and unexpected turns. If you think that you are alone in facing hardship, I need you to think again. The most successful people, the ones who rise above the noise, are not immune to adversity. They have simply learned a different way of responding to it. Life will throw things at you: loss, failure, disappointment, betrayal, rejection. There is no escaping this truth. But there is one undeniable fact that holds power over you, and that is your response. You can't control everything that happens to you, but you can control how you react. This is where your true power lies. The difference between those who succeed and those who remain stagnant is often not in their circumstances, but in their response to those circumstances. It's how they choose to act when everything seems to be falling apart. Consider the example of the renowned inventor Thomas Edison. In 1914, his laboratory, a place that housed years of hard work, innovation, and dreams, was destroyed in a devastating fire. All the prototypes, all the research, all the blueprints reduced to ashes in a matter of hours. Most people in that situation would have succumbed to despair, letting the enormity of the loss crush their spirit. But Edison, amidst the ruins of his life's work, did something incredible. Instead of giving in to grief or anger, he stood there and said, "Thank God all our mistakes are burned up. Now we can start again." This is the kind of response that shapes destiny. Edison's response wasn't simply about optimism. It was about recognizing that his power was in his ability to start over, to learn from the past, and to keep moving forward. He didn't let the fire define him. He chose to define his future. When you understand that your response to adversity is your true power, you begin to take control of your own life. Yes, bad things will happen. Yes, people will disappoint you. Yes, the road will sometimes seem long and arduous. But how you respond to those moments will determine whether you stay down or rise up. In every moment of struggle, you have a choice. You can choose to let that moment break you, or you can choose to let it strengthen you. The choice is yours, and this is where your power lies. Too often we allow our circumstances to dictate who we are. When things are going well, we feel powerful and confident. But when things are going wrong, we feel weak, helpless, and defeated. We start to see ourselves as victims of our environment, as though life's difficulties are an unchangeable force that has come to crush us. But that is a lie. You are not a victim. Your circumstances do not have to control your identity. Your circumstances are simply a snapshot of a moment in time. A moment that does not define your future unless you allow it to. You are not the sum total of your struggles or your setbacks. You are the sum total of how you choose to respond to them. Think about people you admire, those who have overcome incredible odds. Look at Oprah Winfrey, who grew up in poverty, endured abuse, and faced numerous setbacks early in her career. She was told she was unfit for television, and yet today she is one of the most influential women in the world. She refused to be defined by her circumstances. She refused to let the rejection, the pain, and the setbacks of her early life define her future. Walt Disney's story is another example. He was fired from a job as a cartoonist because his employer thought he lacked imagination. Imagine being told that you don't have enough creativity to even do the job you love, a job you believe is your calling. Many people would have walked away, doubted their worth, and never looked back, but Disney chose to act as if nothing bothered him. He kept pushing forward, creating new worlds and bringing his vision to life. Today, his name is synonymous with innovation, creativity, and entertainment. Let's look at J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series. Before she became one of the richest and most successful authors in the world, she was a single mother living on welfare. She was rejected by 12 publishers before her first book was accepted, and she was told she would never make it, yet she kept writing. She kept believing. She refused to let the negative opinions of others define her. She acted as if nothing bothered her, even when it felt like the world was against her. And in the end, her perseverance paid off. These individuals and many others like them have one thing in common. They did not allow their circumstances to define them. They did not become victims of their situation. They chose to act despite their challenges, to move forward even when the road ahead seemed impossible. The key to this mindset is understanding that your current situation is just that, current. It is not permanent unless you make it so. Your financial situation, your relationship struggles, your career challenges, they are all temporary. And they are only as powerful as you allow them to be. You have the ability to change your circumstances by changing the way you respond to them. When you stop seeing yourself as a victim of your environment, you step into your power. You stop giving the world permission to dictate your future. You take control. And that control comes through your response, your decision to rise above the situation, to choose how you feel and how you act, regardless of what life throws your way. One of the most profound shifts you can make in your life is to realize that you are not a prisoner of your circumstances. You are a creator of your reality. You are not bound by the setbacks or difficulties you face. The circumstances do not get to decide who you are. Only you get to decide that. And when you begin to act as if nothing bothers you, when you begin to respond to life's challenges with power and resilience, you start to see things change. You'll find that the more you refuse to be defined by your struggles, the more your struggles begin to lose their power over you. What once seemed like obstacles become opportunities. What once felt like setbacks become stepping stones. Your future is not written by the struggles you face today, but by the choices you make in response to them. Emotions are powerful forces. They can elevate you to great heights, but they can also pull you into dark valleys. In life, we are constantly bombarded with situations that trigger emotions: anger, sadness, fear, frustration, joy, and love. It is only natural to feel these emotions. They are part of our human experience. But what defines you is not whether you feel these emotions, but how you manage them when they arise. Many people allow their emotions to control their actions, which leads them down destructive paths. When faced with frustration, they lash out. When faced with disappointment, they retreat. When fear arises, they freeze. But here's the truth you must understand. You are not your emotions. Your emotions are signals. They alert you to something, but they should never dictate your behavior. You have the power to choose your response. Think about a moment when someone said something hurtful to you. Maybe it was a criticism or an insult, and in that moment your emotional reaction was to get angry or upset. Now imagine if you let that anger consume you, if you allowed that moment of hurt to shape your actions. Would it lead to something good? Would it help you move forward? or would it create further division, more pain, and more confusion? The key is to recognize that the emotional reaction is not the problem, it is the response that follows it. You can choose to acknowledge the emotion and then decide how to act from a place of strength, not weakness. You can choose to maintain control over your response, and by doing so, take control of your future. Take the example of Nelson Mandela. He spent 27 years in prison under harsh conditions. He was stripped of his freedom, his dignity, and his family. For many, that kind of treatment would have ignited a fire of bitterness, anger, and resentment. It would have been easy for Mandela to succumb to the crushing weight of his circumstances, to allow anger and hatred to define him. But he chose something different. He chose emotional control. He chose to not be controlled by the anger that surely arose within him. He understood that his emotional state would determine the direction of his actions, and he chose peace over rage. Mandela's ability to control his emotions allowed him to emerge from prison not as a bitter man, but as a leader who sought reconciliation, forgiveness, and unity for his country. His emotional intelligence became one of his greatest strengths. And it is this emotional control that will help you in your own life. When you control your emotions, you control the direction of your life. You gain the ability to remain calm in a storm, to make wise decisions even when emotions are running high. Most people who lack emotional control make decisions based on temporary feelings. They make snap judgments in moments of anger, frustration, or fear, which only create more problems down the road. But when you learn to respond from a place of emotional strength, you'll find that your decisions become clearer, your relationships healthier, and your path forward more purposeful. The secret is not to avoid emotions. It's to understand them and not allow them to rule you. Life's challenges will bring out different emotions in you, but you have the power to decide how you use them. Will you let them weigh you down, or will you use them as fuel to move forward with greater resolve? Resilience is not something you are born with. It is something you develop. It's a mindset, a way of thinking, and it is the foundation for enduring life's most difficult moments. Life will test you. You will face setbacks, disappointments, and situations that seem impossible to overcome. But it is your mindset that will determine whether you rise or fall in those moments. Resilience is a muscle that you can strengthen. Just like physical endurance, the more you challenge yourself to face adversity with strength and resolve, the stronger you become. The key to building this muscle is understanding that every challenge is an opportunity to grow stronger. The storms of life are not meant to destroy you, they are meant to develop you. Look at the story of Maya Angelou, the renowned poet and civil rights activist. She overcame abuse, discrimination, and immense personal hardships. Despite these challenges, she never allowed them to define her. Instead, she chose to see each challenge as an opportunity to become more resilient. She once said, "We may encounter many defeats, but we must not be defeated." Maya Angelou knew that resilience is a choice. It's a decision to rise, no matter how many times you fall. When you adopt a resilient mindset, you stop seeing challenges as obstacles and you begin to see them as stepping stones. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What can I learn from this? How can I grow through this experience?" Resilience is also about bouncing back from failure. Too often, people allow failure to define them. They believe that a setback means they are not good enough or that they will never succeed. But failure is a necessary part of success. It is in failure that we learn, grow, and prepare ourselves for greater achievements. Thomas Edison, who we mentioned earlier, is a perfect example of resilience. His many failed attempts at creating the light bulb were not seen as defeats, but as lessons. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 1,0,0,0,0 ways that won't work." This mindset of persistence, of resilience in the face of repeated failure, is what eventually led him to succeed. Edison understood that the road to success is not a straight line. It's a series of ups and downs, twists and turns. But it is the resilient person who keeps walking, who keeps trying, who ultimately reaches their destination. Similarly, consider the story of Michael Jordan, widely regarded as the greatest basketball player of all time. He was cut from his high school basketball team. Think about that. A young Michael Jordan, one of the most talented athletes the world has ever seen, was rejected. He could have allowed that rejection to define him, but he didn't. Instead, he used it as motivation to work harder, to train longer, and to come back strong. His resilience on the court is legendary, but it started long before he reached the professional level. It started with his mindset, his refusal to accept defeat, and his ability to bounce back from rejection. Resilience is not about never facing difficulty or hardship. It's about how you choose to respond when life hits you hard. Do you let it break you, or do you let it build you? Resilience is the mindset that says, I will not quit. I will not be defeated. I will find a way to rise above no matter how many times I fall. When you develop this mindset, when you begin to see challenges as opportunities for growth, you unlock an incredible power within yourself. The storms of life will still come, but they will no longer have the power to destroy you. Instead, you will face them with courage, with perseverance, and with the unshakable belief that no matter what happens, you will rise again. When you learn to act as if nothing bothers you, when you develop emotional control and resilience, you begin to realize the profound impact you can have on the people around you. Your ability to remain unshaken in the face of adversity doesn't just serve you, it serves everyone in your circle. The way you respond to life's challenges, the way you choose to carry yourself through difficulty becomes a source of strength and inspiration to those who witness it. Think about the people who have had the most influence in your life. Were they the ones who crumbled when faced with hardship, or were they the ones who stood strong no matter what life threw at them? Think about the times when you were struggling. Who did you turn to for guidance or encouragement? Chances are it was someone who demonstrated calm, resilience, and an unwavering sense of peace, even when they too were facing their own battles. This is the ripple effect of a powerful mindset. When you show up unbothered by life's challenges, when you maintain your emotional control and face adversity with strength, you start to influence others in profound ways. People are naturally drawn to those who possess inner stability. Your calmness, your unwavering confidence, your ability to remain focused in the face of chaos. All of these qualities have an immediate, contagious effect on those around you. Take, for example, a leader in your community or workplace. Think about the leader who walks into a room filled with tension, with conflict brewing, and suddenly the room shifts. The leader doesn't react to the stress or the conflict. They don't allow their emotions to get the better of them. Instead, they bring clarity, calm, and focus to the situation. The leader's presence brings order to chaos, turning confusion into clarity. This is the power of emotional strength. The power of acting as if nothing bothers you. That leader might not even speak much, but their very presence sends a message. We can handle this. We are bigger than this moment. And in doing so, they not only find a solution to the problem at hand, but also inspire others to do the same. People begin to think differently. They begin to see challenges as opportunities instead of threats. They start to believe that they too can handle whatever comes their way because they've seen someone else do it with grace and poise. The influence of someone who exhibits emotional strength is not confined to just one individual. It spreads. It ripples outward. People in the workplace become more confident. Teams become more cohesive. Families become more resilient. And before long, you see the collective impact of one person's mindset, one person's ability to act as if nothing bothers them, transforming an entire environment. Think of the story of Martin Luther King Jr. During the civil rights movement, King was faced with unimaginable pressure, hatred, and opposition. He was constantly under threat, facing violence, racism, and enormous personal risk. Yet he maintained a calm, unshakable demeanor in the face of it all. He stood firm in his belief in justice and equality, never allowing the hatred and violence directed at him to sway his commitment to peace. In his famous "I Have a Dream" speech, King didn't preach revenge or bitterness. He preached unity, hope, and love. He didn't react to the forces of injustice with anger and violence. Instead, he responded with a vision, one that would become a source of inspiration for generations. King's emotional strength, his ability to face persecution with grace, transformed not only the civil rights movement, but the entire world. His example rippled through society, sparking change on a global scale. But the impact of emotional strength goes beyond the grand stage. It exists in our day-to-day interactions, in your family, your friendships, and your community. People will look to you for guidance when things go wrong. They will watch how you handle adversity. And whether you realize it or not, your response will shape theirs. In times of personal difficulty, if you can stand strong, it sends a powerful message to those around you. It tells them that they too can endure. It shows them that challenges are not permanent, they are simply part of the journey. The ability to remain composed and unbothered by life's setbacks allows others to see possibility where they might see only despair. It gives them hope and the courage to face their own battles. This ripple effect extends to your workplace as well. A manager who leads with calmness and poise under pressure will see their team perform better under stress. A mentor who remains unshaken in moments of doubt will help their mentee build the confidence to push through their own struggles. Your emotional state can be the difference between an environment of fear and one of courage, between an atmosphere of division and one of unity. People are constantly looking for guidance, whether they consciously realize it or not. We are social beings, and we naturally look to those who display strength, clarity, and composure, especially when life feels chaotic. When you choose to act as if nothing bothers you, when you maintain control of your emotions and your response to life's challenges, you become a lighthouse for others. The ripple effect doesn't stop at the people you directly interact with. It extends beyond them as well. Imagine a community where individuals choose to act as if nothing bothers them. Imagine a world where every person embraces their emotional control, their resilience, and their power to respond with strength to adversity. That world would be one of hope, of stability, and of unshakable progress. When we choose to rise above challenges with grace, we set the stage for others to do the same. And together we can create a world where obstacles are seen as stepping stones, where challenges are opportunities for growth, and where no one is ever truly defeated. When you realize the influence you have on others, it changes everything. Your mindset becomes not just about you, but about everyone you touch. Your emotional strength becomes a gift you share with the world, a gift that will continue to ripple out and inspire countless others long after the moment has passed. You begin to understand that your actions, your responses, and your choices matter far more than you ever realized. When you choose to act as if nothing bothers you, you are not just choosing to rise above your circumstances. You're choosing to embrace a mindset that transforms your life and the lives of those around you. You are choosing the power of response, understanding that your reaction to life's challenges shapes your destiny. You are breaking free from the victim mentality, realizing that your circumstances do not define you. You are mastering emotional control, refusing to be swayed by fleeting feelings, and instead using them to fuel your progress. More than that, you become a beacon for others. Your strength, resilience, and calmness in adversity become a source of inspiration, setting a ripple effect of influence and empowerment that extends far beyond what you can see. Your ability to stay unshaken becomes the very force that empowers others to find their own strength and courage. In life, we will all face storms. We will all encounter difficulties that seem overwhelming. But in those moments, it is your mindset, your response to the challenge, that will determine not only how you navigate through the storm, but how you inspire others to do the same. So I ask you today, what will your response be? Will you let life's challenges control you, or will you choose to act as if nothing bothers you and rise above it all? The choice is yours, and in that choice lies the power to change your life and to change the world.